This is a love letter to the kid with the tough name.
It's time for the world to put some respect on it. What's poppin', you guys? Welcome to this particular side of the internet. Welcome to my channel.
Post-production me here. Let me go ahead and address this before I get too deep into the video. This thing right here is not a microphone. This thing right here is the shoelace that I use to tie my braids up. Elastics and all that good stuff just don't do it for me. The shoelace has always been the go-to. Unfortunately, on camera, the shoelace and my hair were the exact same color, so I did not notice this until after I finished filming the video. I could have completely refilmed the entire video, but I said no. We're gonna keep it real, we're gonna keep it raw, we're gonna keep it a buck. So we're gonna keep it as is. I will address it and we can move on. Because at some point in the video, I fixed my hair and I don't even know that I put it away. So it doesn't stay there forever. Okay, moving on.
Today, I am here to finally interject myself into this community, give you guys a bit of a feel, a bit of a look, a bit of a taste as to who it is your girl is, and go ahead and clarify something that turns into an entire story of its own in conversation. My name. So without further ado, let's see how it is this comes together. Now, at first glance, unless you are French speaking, looking at the spelling of my name might be intimidating in some way. Not because it's bad or anything, but there's this fear of completely butchering the pronunciation of it, which tends to happen. So let's put that fear to rest. Hi, my name is Merveille. Pour tous ceux qui parlent français, c'est simple à dire et ça sonne bien. But for those who don't you worry. After tirelessly searching the internet and putting words together on Google, I have finally found the sweet combination that makes it make sense. Think of the word mayor and the word ve, like 𝑭𝑰𝑵𝑵𝒊𝒔, and there you have it. Merveille. Pour ceux qui se demandent comment j'ai pu parler avec autant de facilité en français, c'est parce que je suis d'origine congolaise, donc c'est ma première langue. Je suis très enthousiaste à l'idée de pouvoir l'intégrer encore plus largement dans ce que je fais et dans ce que j'espère faire. I am an actress, a writer, and a filmmaker, amongst many other things that I happen to do. Now, for a long time, it has felt as though being interested and passionate in so many different things all at once was the literal recipe for disaster. And in some cases, it did feel pretty overwhelming or difficult to manage all of my passions. But I have long since learned that there is a healthy way of being able to manage all of it, and there's a beauty in being able to say that you can do so much. Circling back just a little bit, I did say that this was a love letter of some sort, more specifically to the kid with the tough name. Yes, wanting to create a very specific clarification of my name, i.e. this video, came from a place of lightheartedness and wanting to be helpful, because I completely understand that feeling of,
damn, I'm about to butcher this person's name.
Trust me, I get it. But in the same breath, this was also a wake-up call for me and to that little girl who found the need to shy away from a name that was clearly destined for such amazing things. And I'm hoping it could be a wake-up call for some of you too. In my day-to-day life, a lot of people actually call me by another name. It's not made up or anything, it's just one of the few that it is I have. If you know, you know. And within those people, I have found that there's two categories. There's those people that genuinely know me as that name, have grown with me, have seen me at different stages in life. And then the other half who know me or call me that simply because when I introduced myself the first time, they found it hard to say and they just wanted to resonate with something simple. And even within that, there's another layer to it. There's the people who are genuinely apologetic and completely embarrassed by not being able to pronounce my name. And then there's the people who've, without shame, said,
I like that one better because it's simple. I'm gonna call you that. That one's easier, so I'll call you that. I like that one better.
Do you have a nickname that I could call you instead?
And I think that's where it strikes a nerve. I remember when I was back in school, there was a foreign exchange program going on. At least I think it was a program. Regardless, there were some foreign exchange students in some of my classes, so I got to meet them. And they all did something without fail. They all introduced themselves by their English names. At the time, I didn't think too much about it. They introduced themselves. But then when I sat with it and I thought about it, I realized that myself, along with so many other people, also found the need to have to do something just like that. We found the need to introduce ourselves completely different than what we would have just right off rip, because of the setting that it is we were in, or the people it is we were surrounded by. Whether that was because they had English names of their own or their names were just so unique, it was just always something. And the deeper you think about it, the more you realize it's a lot darker. It's all in the name of not making other people uncomfortable. And that's really not a great thing to think or feel. I'm only now getting out of the habit of automatically introducing myself as my other name because one, it is reserved in a way, and two, I realize that there are so many people out here who are actually willing to put in the effort to learn how to say my name. And I don't have to be fearful about that. A quick note on this, because it happened a few weeks ago, my agent got a call from casting, and the casting director asked my agent how to pronounce my name, which I was so moved by, and so was my agent. It was just so, I can't put it into words, but it shocked me. But she made it her mission to say, hey, I need to know how to say your client's name because I want to know how to say it. And it's funny because my agent herself had the worst time saying my name, but now she just says it, it rolls off her tongue real fine because she made it her mission to learn. And the funnier thing about all of this, me realizing that I did not have to be fearful about really doubling down on what it is my name was because of the film industry. For starters, on all the legal paperwork I needed to fill out, I needed to write down my name as it appeared on my IDs. So it was a no-brainer that anytime it is I was spoken to, anytime it is I was talked about, anytime it is my name was written down anywhere, it was going to be Merveille. There was never going to be any confusion. But beyond that, it also came from the people it is I was meeting while I was on set. One example I can think of right off the top of my head, I had this woman that was signing me in when I had made my way to set this one day. I told her my name is Merveille. She looked at it on the paper. She's like, by the end of the day, I'm gonna learn how to say your name properly. I didn't say nothing. I just came in to sign in, and that was the first thing she uttered. And by the end of that day, she came and found me and she pronounced my name right. Because she heard me say it, she saw it on the paper, she highlighted the name, but she made it her mission by the end of the day to be able to say it. Another experience it is I had that lives rent-free in my mind. I was on set and I was having a conversation with one of the actresses who has since become an amazing friend. We were having a conversation about me having a hard time being okay with what my stage name was and wanting to change it. And I realized that I was having an issue with my stage name because it also included the name that people in my day-to-day life know me as. And I understood that I purposely made my name the way that it was so that those people knew that when it is they would see me in something or they would see my name somewhere, they're like, oh, that's our girl, that's our girl. I was torn because I wanted to completely get rid of it and just be Merveille. Because again, for far too long, I was just shying away from the name and letting people decide what it is they wanted to call me. So I'm like, no, I just want them to call me this. And one of the crew members heard me say my name and he was like,
what'd you say your name was?
I turned my head and I said, oh, it's Merveille. We're in the middle of setting up a scene, and I kid you guys not, it turned into a 5-minute conversation. I started talking to some of the other actors, again, as we're all standing there waiting for this scene to be filmed. They were speaking to me in French because some of them spoke French, and they were going around saying, oh my gosh, that's such a beautiful name, whoop, whoop, whoop. And I was so shocked, and a part of me was kind of shy in a way, because all of a sudden people are paying attention all because I said my name was what it was. And my homegirl looked at me and she said, I think you know what you need to do about your name. And that was it. And I ran with it. That's I guess the confirmation it is I needed, that I was doing this and I was gonna be okay. I do think that in the midst of me reclaiming my name though, it has caused some slight confusion amongst the people who have known me as my other name. Let me clear that up. I am still very much that hasn't changed. I introduced myself as that name. I have been comfortable being called that name. None of that has changed. What it is though is me just taking my name back. There's been so many times where I've had to look at myself as two separate individuals, like the professional me and the personal me, which makes perfect sense in my mind. But with this, it's understanding that both are one and the same. They are both my names. They both hold weight. So what I've wanted from this for the people who know me as my other name is for y'all to get with the program. Y'all know me as but in spaces where it's not just us, it's Merveille. Yeah? Yeah. To all those out there with the unique, uncommon, difficult names, please understand that your names are truly important elements to your identities. Having your name completely mispronounced can feel disrespectful and insulting. Trust me, I get it. And you may find that you have to simplify it or go by something completely different so that you don't stick out like a sore thumb. Trust me, I get it, and it's okay if you do. Your names hold weight. Don't let anybody make you feel as though you've forgotten that fact. It's the first gift that was ever given to you. You get to decide and you get to set the tone for how it is anybody addresses you. Don't let anyone tell you what your name is, whether that's your name, your nickname, whatever you decide to have people call you, you let the world know what your name is. And I promise you, they will follow in your tune. And if they don't, they were never that important to begin with. Never compromise the importance and the value and the weight your name holds. People will call you what you tell them to call you. That there shouldn't be a discussion about that. Not when it comes to your name. Man, I am very much excited to share my thoughts, my ideas, my projects, my journey, my many other interests with all of you as I continue to step into my absolute best self. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. Merci, merci, merci beaucoup. And I'd love for you guys to hang out with me again and for more people to hang out with me too. So don't be afraid to tell a friend to tell a friend. Yeah? Yeah. Stay blessed and I'll see y'all later. Mwah.
That's a wrap.
Why am I saying it's a love story? That's not what I'm saying. Oh boy. Hello, I'm recording. I actually did